Anyway, people will be happy to know I'm pretty much out of it, of the actual search, because my interest in it was that I live here and this was within my abilities. But going north and up these ravines is not within my abilities. And so therefore, I'm kind of out of it, which especially Britney Spears and Artari, I'm sure, are happy to know. Some reflections on which theories now kind of come forward after Chuck's hikes up these ravines. First of all, to go up this wash and then work north, which is what he said he was going to do, that's certainly now, the pendulum now swings towards that. Not 40 miles, not way up here to the top of these mountains, but definitely now this becomes a possibility, and these things here matches what he referred to as going up and over mountains to the north. It matches exactly what he may have done. Now, the fact that if he did go up these ravines, which he may have for a while, but he would have encountered what Chuck encountered, a nasty wash, very rugged, being poked by trees and bushes. I just don't think it was his thing to do to try to set a world record to prove he had been up here or up here. He certainly would have likely walked up here, and then turned back. And then now let's suppose he comes up to this one. Well, then he would have thought the same thing. He could well have continued on up over these and, explore. It's hard to say that he wouldn't have went up into these ravines. And keep in mind that seeing how wooded it was, that he could be up here. It's not impossible, but you can't go everywhere and look under every tree. So this now becomes, pendulum leans kind of in this direction. Maybe. After seeing that terrain, which is more rugged, more wooded than even I thought it was, now I think it's kind of hopeless. One thing on the falling thing, slipping and falling, like, Chuck mentioned he couldn't picture him, like slipping. But my story up on going up to Frenchman Mountain, where you go up that steep road, worst thing I've ever done, by the way, miserable place to go, is to go up to the top of Frenchman Mountain. But I was coming down at night. I went up at night, came down at night, and I was just walking down the road, which is like, I would say a 30-degree angle, a rocky road, and I was being careful. I was leaning forward. I know that the most common fall is to have your feet simply pop out from under you, and so I was being careful. Since I was done, my camera, big huge camera, was the only thing in my pack. I had put it in my pack and I had my headlight on, and I was working down, and I tell you, my feet popped out. I slammed down so hard with the camera hitting me directly in the back. I thought I had broken my back. My head hit so hard I thought I'd been knocked out. My light landed feet away. And so there you go. Any hiker can tell you that your feet can pop out from under you and you can slam down. And for instance, suppose that I was in rocky terrain where there's a sharp rock that could have pierced my skull or cracked my skull. It can happen, and that means not falling off a cliff. That means falling from a standing up position. A fall, for instance, in a factory that is over 10 feet is 80% fatal. And so falling doesn't necessarily mean falling off of a cliff. It can happen at any instant. Any hiker will tell you. However, I hit hard. But I'm 220 pounds, and I hit harder than most people do. Kenny Veach was 5'8", and so he could take a fall like that, and it wouldn't affect him as much. As a matter of fact, on my fall, I actually messaged Facebook that I may have to be rescued, because it took me a minute before I could even begin to get up, and even then I didn't think I was going to make my way down. I thought I had broken my back. It took my back like 3 months to get back to normal. So anyway, I wanted to address that because that's very important, because it's not just falling off of, here's a cliff up there, maybe he fell off of this 300-foot high cliff. That's not always the way it works. Another thing is to where he would have went in his hiking style. Okay, let's look at Gas Peak. Okay, he spent the night on, let's see, Gas Peak, right there, and he was big on Fossil Ridge. Okay, so these areas, he really was not hiking 20, 30 miles into the distance. He was doing pretty normal hikes. Okay, so as you come up back here, would he have really went 20 miles over these mountains, all over hell and creation? I think not. But this, now the pendulum swings more possibly into this area, but it's hard to say, because these ravines you couldn't see. You know, it would take a team to go up here and work this for what, a week, to look under every possible bush. So anyway, I'm out of it because I can't get to these areas. But that's some of my reflections. It seemed like there was something else I was going to mention. Another one, at this time, until I learn otherwise, I know of no known hike where Kenny would park here and go 20 miles off into the distance. Okay, that's it. I look forward to doing other videos, like I want to talk about the geology of the whole area and this area and what people are seeing when they go up there, which, if they're interested in geology, which very few people are.